All right, we're live.
We are
January
live.
21st. Michael, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, John?
Special guest, Andrew. Andrew, say
How
what's
are
up.
you, John?
I'm doing fantastic. He's been very kind enough to share some of his insights on this
This
episode.
has been a long time
on
coming.
this- Yeah, it's a long time coming, right?
We're here to give our takes.
Here to give our takes. Big news
Start it
today.
off, John. We got a big weekend, man.
We had a big weekend. We have a big weekend. We had a big news splash today. Eagles got a new coach, boys.
Finally,
They got a new coach. What do we think? What do we
It's not
think?
gonna matter. We're still gonna suck.
I don't have expectations for this team to go even 500 still.
Man,
I was saying that I think the ceiling's around 8-8, 9-7. I mean,
Yeah.
Wentz is going to be the starter. I like unless we draft another quarterback, which with our dickhead of the GM, that
We
could,
might.
we
Who- I
might.
would-
Who the fuck knows what we're going to do with 6?
If we don't take a receiver, then
I think you got to take a receiver now because you have a wide receivers coach as a head coach now.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: like, I say what guys, you can say what you want about Jalen Reagor, but I think this is good for a guy like him.
Mhm. He needs
Having a
little-
wide receivers coach come in, having a guy that's worked with guys like Keenan Allen, Tyler Williams. I know they're not like household names. They're not like DeAndre Hopkins or Devontae Adams.
Well, the guy's had a lot of experience.
He's had
We
a lot
love
of
taking
experience.
guys from the Chiefs. He coached the Chiefs. We have a hard
Yeah.
on for taking guys from that team for some reason. I mean,
With Andy Reid.
The last one got-
the Andy Reid coaching tree.
It's huge.
That's another
Andy-
coach from the Andy Reid coaching tree right there.
Yeah, just
Yeah, that's
The
insane.
list just added to the fucking list, man. So many guys.
That's what I was saying.
Houston. There's
With
another
Jalen
one.
Reagor, I mean, this is good for him, for Greg Ward, for Marquise
Yeah, but-
Goodwin,
for whoever we hopefully draft.
and hopefully
Wait, I forgot we
Jamar
had
Chase.
Marquise Goodwin. Where was he this season? Did he get
He
hurt or
opted
something?
out.
He opted out for COVID.
Yeah. So
That'll be good to get another speed guy.
I'm
he
very
was-
happy.
I'm not confident in him.
I'm very happy that this team got an offensive mind. I think they
Yeah.
needed an offensive mind.
Mhm.
And it seemed like, in a way, like I feel like they kind of rushed the process a little bit. But at the same time, you know, this is a guy that you kind of wanted to see them get. You know what I mean?
I didn't even know who he was until yesterday. To be
Yeah, neither
honest
did I.
with
I heard his
you.
name.
I didn't even know who he was.
He was a late bloomer. He was a late
Yeah.
bloomer. He was a
I
late
heard his name
bloomer.
for the first time like a week ago, and then just out of nowhere, it was like, "Yeah, we're finalizing a deal with this guy." And I'm like, "Oh, all right."
I wanted either the Chiefs offensive coordinator, Deuce Staley, and I mean, I honestly taking
Deuce
Josh
Deuce will
McDaniels.
be Deuce will be the
Belichick disciples
coordinator.
don't work out though. It seems like in this week for some reason.
Well, I also think that clearly Howie and Jeffrey Lurie have a hand in this. So I do believe that. I think the chances are pretty good that they'll bring in Deuce as the offensive coordinator. I think he deserves it. A lot of the guys respect him. I mean, you look at the running back room in the past couple of years. You look at the development of Miles Sanders. He's can you guys agree he's the weapon on offense? He's the weapon, weapon that they have.
He should be the focal point of our offense.
Exactly.
Yeah, they definitely need to run the ball more.
Yeah.
So it should be.
But I feel like as an Eagles fan, we've just been saying the same shit besides the Super Bowl year.
Mhm.
That just came out of nowhere. I mean, everybody knows that at this point. But I always feel like we're bitching at the coach that he doesn't run the ball enough, and then we never run the ball ever.
And we never have receivers. We never.
I was telling somebody earlier today that I think this guy is going to be as good as the last one.
I didn't even like he doesn't have any like real coaching experience other than like the job in Indy, which they've had all right offenses.
And here's the thing that you got to remember too: this guy had a challenge on his plate before the 2019 season when Andrew Luck decides to retire. Jacoby Brissett comes in. So this guy's been, and you got to look at the pieces that this guy's had too. He had the likes of Andrew Luck, like I said. He's had Quentin Nelson. He's had T.Y. Hilton. He's had Phillip
He's also
Rivers
had Frank
multiple
Wright.
occasions.
I mean, Frank
Also
Reich's
had
still a
Frank
good
Reich.
guy out there.
You also had
Jonathan Taylor this year.
Jonathan Taylor and Naheem Hines.
We don't have these guys though.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have them, but I mean, here's the thing: you got to be a little optimistic.
There is a lot of development that's like.
Yeah.
We don't develop guys though. We haven't had a Pro Bowler.
When was the last time we drafted a Pro Bowler? I guess Wentz.
Wentz.
Like 4
That is
years
it.
ago.
That is it. And I mean, the Pro Bowl, nobody gives a shit about the game, obviously, but getting that on your resume.
Yeah, Howie can't draft to save his life.
I think that if I would hope that Sirianni, because he's new, maybe will have some say. He better have a lot of fucking say in what he wants to do with what he wants to do in the draft. Because this is, I mean, I don't know if it's because I've been playing Madden since November, franchise mode with the draft class constantly, but I think this is going to be like a groundbreaking draft class of talent. I mean, there are
a lot of guys
in this.
Well,
draft
it's
class.
also very evident of the 4 or 5 guys that you can see this team drafting. If they don't draft within those 3 or 4 or 5 guys that we are targeting, I'm talking about Chase. I'm talking about, I don't think Smith's going to be there, but I'll throw him on there. Parsons, Waddle, or Surtain. If none of them are there, you expect at least 2 or 3 of them to be there at that point. But if they don't draft within those 4 or 5 guys, then you fucked it up. It's pretty evident who they need or who.
Yeah, I think they need to take a corner. If Patrick Surtain is there, that is the guy.
But if Jamar Chase is there, who do you take?
I want Jamar Chase over anybody.
You take Surtain over Chase.
Yes. Give me a corner that can stop somebody.
Well, we need a receiver that can catch the ball and get open.
This is a very receiver
you gotta take you have to go into this draft thinking we have to make everything like do everything with Carson Wentz in mind because like this is the year.
And you can look at all the mock drafts and shit, but I mean, you know that there's going to be that one guy that you thought was going to get picked really early that falls.
Mm-hmm.
It happens every year. I mean, I remember, and there's a lot of time between now and April too. Because I mean, remember Laremy Tunsil was supposed to be the first pick in the draft, and then they found him. They found him with the gas mask bong, and then he fell. Like stupid shit like that.
At this point in time, I want Jamar Chase over everybody else. Like if Jamar Chase is there, he's the guy.
I think at this point too,
except at this point too, we're not getting Devontae Smith.
No, absolutely not. And he's the top 3 pick in my opinion. I think he falls to the New York Jets at number 2. I think they build around Darnold. Now, obviously, their new head coach Robert Saleh can, probably do something different. A lot of that depends on what they want to do as a front office. But I think at this point, Devontae Smith will not be there at 6.
Quarterback though, you really don't think they?
I think they would take Wilson now over.
They have options. They can do whatever.
Zach Wilson.
The Eagles.
Yeah.
They love him, or they would like him.
No, I say he has risen on. Like
he's gonna skyrocket up draft boards from April.
Yeah, he is very.
He'll be a top 5 pick, easy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, completely. And
I think he's over Justin Fields now.
Yeah, me too.
I could see Fields falling, and I don't think he's going to be bad because,
no,
I mean, Ohio State quarterbacks have
always sucked.
And speaking of which, Dwayne Haskins was signed today by the Steelers.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
I mean, I think Big Ben's going to stay for another year. So I mean, he might just. And
the thing is, Big Ben's a better quarterback still than.
They're both really fucking horny too. I mean, you got fucking Big Rape and Dwayne Haskins, dude. That's going to be a troublesome duo right there. Watch out.
That's a dangerous QB.
That is a dangerous fucking duo down there.
Stay away from that. But yeah, I mean, this is very interesting. This was a very interesting hire, a very interesting day. There's only more stuff that is going to be coming out pretty soon, hopefully, about who the offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator is. I mean, that we want Deuce Staley as the offensive coordinator. I do believe that can happen. And we'll just carry on, I guess, until April, and we'll see what the free agency brings.
Yeah, we gave these bastards of the Philadelphia Eagles 10 minutes. We can talk about the
divisional round.
Should we talk about the divisional round first?
We're down to 4 teams. We're down
gotta
to
go in
4
order. We
teams.
gotta go by where the game started. We have to start on Saturday.
All right, what was the first Saturday game?
That was the
First-
Rams and the Packers.
I didn't watch a ton of that game. I was at work, but I
took CBD pills because the first half was so fucking boring. It was nice seeing
seemed like
fans
all
back
that
in Green
exciting.
Bay.
I saw like bits and pieces. It didn't seem like a game that I really like needed to watch.
Oh,
Green Bay just
Devontae
dominated
Adams.
it. Aaron Donald was out. It's a different game if he's healthy, but what are you gonna do?
Now, I did watch a good portion of that game.
Thank God.
Matt LaFleur had a very, 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 very good game plan. He pounded the ball.
I love Matt LaFleur.
He used all 3 of his backs, Dylan, Williams, and Aaron Jones.
Yeah, imagine if they would have fired that dickhead Mike McCarthy like 7 years ago.
Exactly. But they had a very good offensive game plan going into that game. The battle with Devontae Adams and Jalen Ramsey was very cool. I mean, it was a pretty good battle. I mean, Devontae Adams, I think he caught 1 touchdown, right?
Yeah, on the goal line.
Yeah.
That's a vintage Devontae
So,
Adams touchdown.
I mean, I think LaFleur did a very good job in game planning around that, using his running game, using his other receivers, using Rodgers.
Mhm.
This is I tell you what.
Next gen stat, John. Packers in cold weather games, man, they don't lose. Lambeau Field, it's the place to be in December and January.
They
man.
don't lose, but leading into that. Now, we'll talk about more of this later. This weekend. It's 25 degrees in Green Bay? Packers and NFC Championship games,
I've been seeing
especially the last couple at Lambeau.
I've been seeing
Not
some
great.
snow in the forecast.
But I don't know.
What's Brady's record in games like that?
Probably over 500, I would imagine. He
All right, let's get to that point. What's
500 in pretty much any circumstances you could think of.
All right, let's get to that point. Let's talk about that late Saturday game between
that game
Buffalo
was,
and
how about Justin Tucker?
That game was such a bust. I
It
thought
was
that
a
was going to
bust.
be game of the year.
I was very excited for that game.
I was so excited. I thought that was going to be such a great game, and
You
Lamar
guys are giving me
what the
heat
hell
every
was
day,
that?
but I still think the hardball hot seat, extreme hot seat.
I think they gotta go
He's
to
got
the
one more year.
championship, at least. I think if they keep taking like one step forward, they keep winning one more playoff game year by year. Like if they go to the AFC Championship next year, then I think if they get Lamar a big body receiver, like a possession guy that can just go up and get some contested catches.
How about Ahmad Ross St. Brown?
I'm thinking like more like Allen Robinson, Kenny Galladay, free agent kind of guys.
Do they have a lot of money?
I don't know.
Robinson's
I
going
don't
to
know
want a
anything
big
about.
contract.
he's going to want a big contract. He's going to want a quarterback too.
Yeah, he's
Can
gonna
the Bears also franchise him if possible?
Allen Robinson. I don't think so. I think he wants out of there.
I'm telling you, Mitchell Trubisky might get franchised this season. They might give him one more year.
Why?
It's not out of the realm of possibilities.
He didn't end the year that badly.
They played like 3 of the worst teams in football.
I think they're kind of in a situation like the Eagles are.
It's the Bears too. Like they're a terrible franchise. They would
They
make
are.
it seem like
They
that.
are.
All right, enough Bear talk.
That kind of tying into that real quick. They're kind of in a situation like the Eagles are. They probably want to see what they have in Trubisky because they did waste a very high pick on him. Kind of like the Eagles with Carson Wentz. Yeah, there's no coaching change there, but they want to see if they can probably drag it out one more year with the Trubisky-Nagy thing. So we'll see. We'll see.
I'm rooting for Mitch. I want Mitch. Like, what if Mitch wins the Super Bowl before Deshaun Watson? If he's a backup
Get the
somewhere,
fuck out of here.
imagine that happens.
He's not winning a
Hysterical.
Super Bowl.
That would be funny as shit.
Last time I checked, Deshaun Watson was still in Houston, so it's not like anything is happening there anytime soon.
He'll be out of there by the draft.
What,
Hey, they gave him say in their new coaching hire.
how about this? How about this?
Yeah, it's too late.
How about this little mock trade? Jets trade their pick,
No.
and the Texans get the second pick, and the Jets get Deshaun Watson.
No.
No?
They would need a lot more than just the 2. They'd probably need Darnold and a first next year, maybe a second.
All right, so Darnold first round this year,
I wouldn't do that if I was the Jets. I would do that if I was because that's not a roster where you're trading for a franchise quarterback. You want to build up something, like anything. That roster is way, way worse than what they got in Houston. He won 4 games in Houston. He's not he's not winning all of these games in Houston.
He led the league in passing. His defense.
I know. No, Deshaun Watson's probably a top 5 quarterback in the NFL, but
no, he is. He is. If you give him weapons, he is doubtedly. Honestly, he could be top 3.
Nah,
he could be.
I think he's right there with Allen.
Man,
like 3 or 4.
If age isn't a number, would you rather have Deshaun Watson or Russell Wilson?
Watson.
Even if age doesn't matter?
Watson.
Probably.
I would probably take
because I feel like Watson's a little bit more versatile. Russell Wilson, I mean, you really didn't get him as much consistency out of him this year, and it's just he was. I feel like he's a good quarterback. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
He can do a lot. I mean, he's insanely good, but he was carried by his defense.
Watson's that dude right now, though. Like he had Will Fuller as his number 1 receiver and Brandon Cooks. Led the NFL in passing. Like he threw like 33 touchdowns, 7 picks.
And even before DeAndre Hopkins left, he got that. He like when he was in there, like that year, 2017. It was like night and day
when he tore his ACL.
The week before.
Yeah, I remember I got him in a fantasy football trade that day, and I was all excited. 2 hours later, just see him on the ground on ESPN. I'm like, shit.
All right, let's continue to recap these games. The Buffalo game was very boring. Let's go to Sunday afternoon.
Wait, but we didn't show the Bills any love.
We didn't.
They didn't play well.
Josh Allen was a game manager in that one.
Played good enough to win against a very good defense.
Lamar sold so hard. That pick 6 is the worst play of his career.
That was a bad one.
That was awful. What's he doing?
Was not good.
Running back.
All right. Can we move on now?
Yeah, we can move on.
Fuck that game.
All right. Cleveland and Kansas City. I thought the Browns could. I mean, I predicted. I was not surprised at what happened in that game at all. I was
you almost
surprised
got your money line bet though.
I did. I almost cashed in on that Browns money line. It hurt, but you know what? It was fine.
Anything is possible.
Anything is possible. And the thing is, the Browns defense looked terrible in that game. But it just shows you how good the Chiefs offense is and can be, even without their biggest playmaker.
They're going to have him, by the way.
Yeah, he's practicing. Did you really think he was going to miss this game?
It's pretty much set in stone. That guy could be on his deathbed and they're still going to throw him out there for an AFC championship.
They moved the football well. That's what won the game from. They just moved the football. They kept scoring. They didn't lose a step. They Andy Reid, Eric Berry adjusted their game plan, and bam.
Their defense deserves a lot of credit too for only 17 points.
And also, I think
good Cleveland offense.
I still believe
they'll be back.
I still believe that Kevin Stefanski's the coach of the year. He sold them. He sold them in that game.
God, what the hell? Sold them. That was the worst challenge I've ever seen. It was so blatant, obvious.
Kevin Stefanski's I think it's Sean McDermott.
I think it's I give it to Stefanski just because of the history of the Browns.
How about the history of the Bills?
But you also got to remember the Browns lost a big playmaker in Odell. Obviously, he's a drama queen. But you got to remember, if you look at that team in the preseason, right? You look at that team in the preseason. And you tell me that they got to the divisional round without Odell playing most of the year, and without
they were going to make the playoffs in the beginning of the year. Because here's why: last year, everyone was hyping the shit out of them, saying how great they were going to be, and I thought, they're probably going to underachieve. Then this year, and it was smart of them to fire Kitchens.
Mm-hmm.
This year, I thought, everyone's kind of because everyone was low on the Browns. Because remember, week 1, they got the shit kicked out of them in Baltimore.
Yeah.
They got beat pretty bad in Pittsburgh too.
Yeah, they did.
They're just a way better football team without Odell.
And I also think too, a lot of it, you got to give credit to Stefanski. It's very tough going into a place in his first year and doing what he did.
Especially with Cleveland.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's why I think he's coach of the year, because it is the Browns.
It is the Browns.
So,
Do
but
you see a Super Bowl in their radar in the next 3 years?
I do. I see a Super Bowl in Buffalo and in Cleveland.
I
I
don't no. I don't think so.
You never know.
That division's going to stay really competitive. The Chiefs aren't going anywhere. Buffalo's not going anywhere.
Does Pittsburgh regress?
Yeah.
How
100%.
crazy
Baltimore's
is it
so
that the
good,
Browns
but-
and Bills are good now?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were pretty close to a Browns-Bills AFC championship.
I mean, I remember my childhood. Every time I would turn on like the Red Zone in 2011 or 2012, it'd be those old ass. John, remember the old Bills uniforms, like with like Trent Edwards
With the navy blue.
With
Yeah.
Fred Jackson.
Yeah, who they had Lee Evans,
CJ Spiller.
C.J. Spiller.
Those are names.
They were just a team always went 6-10, man.
Yeah, both of them just have a very, especially like lately, they've been probably two of the worst teams in the NFL over the past like decade.
Hands down. Hands
Oh,
down.
hands down.
Definitely Cleveland.
Cleveland. Hell, you can make. I mean, that Dallas stat with Tom Brady is it? I mean,
What?
having been in the
NFC
NFC for 1
championship?
year.
Yeah.
That was definitely a crazy stat.
Speaking of Brady,
Yeah, speaking of which,
Yeah, speaking of Tom Brady, good leeway into the next.
segue.
Good segue. I am not surprised one bit at that game and what happened.
Brees.
Drew Brees is washed.
He's washed. He's sold. If they played Jameis Winston, was that a different outcome?
No.
They didn't have the balls to do when he threw that touchdown. Why not keep him in?
Yeah.
Nah, you can't. Breeze was retiring. You can't bench him.
But do you want to stay alive? Do you want to stay alive in the
I don't
playoffs?
think it would have mattered. Breeze.
Let
I mean, it may be maybe like a touchdown game instead of a 10-point game.
Jameis Winston revenge game, dude.
Yeah, he got his 1 for 1.
Also, let us
start
not
next
forget.
season.
Let us not forget. It's very difficult to beat a team 3 times in an NFL season.
Especially when Tom Brady's the quarterback.
Yeah.
That'll never be done. You're never going to beat Tom.
And Bruce Arians is the coach.
Yeah, he's actually been talking a lot about like how he stepped back, and then like ever since he stepped back, the Bucs have been on fire, and he's just letting Brady run the offense that he thinks they should be running.
Yeah, I saw Bruce Arians said probably after the game, or maybe it was last week, that he because like Belichick micromanaged the shit out of Tom Brady in New England, and I kind of think that's stupid because I mean he's the best athlete of all time. I would say. I mean we're not talking like athleticism, obviously.
Quarterback.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's the best. I think he's the best football player of all time.
Yep. Definitely in the conversation.
I mean, dude, if he wins a Super Bowl this season,
Oh, he's the top. Yeah, he's the greatest football player of all time.
one, it's his best Super Bowl by
You can't
far.
argue anymore.
That's by far his best Super Bowl if he wins this year.
Mhm. New
'Cause I mean,
completely new everything, and it doesn't even matter.
and if you look through Tom Brady's career, the crazy part about it is his super like he had a super team. The 16-0 team was a super team.
Mhm.
They didn't win the Super Bowl that year.
Yeah.
And if you look at Brady's best game that he's ever played in the Super Bowl, they lost that game.
Us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, he's his dominant, and plus the thing is too, he has like elite weapons on the outside, and he has Gronk with him, and he
it's
has
about damn time that
and he has
get some
Chris
elite
Godwin.
weapons.
That
he has
O-line
Antonio
is
Brown,
really good.
he has Leonard Fournette, Ronald
Jones.
Jones. Like they can win, they can do damage,
Jedrick
and that
Wills
leads us. That
Oh,
leads us
draft too.
into talking about this weekend. We have that is a 3 o'clock game, the early window game. Tampa Bay going to Green Bay, Lambeau Field, NFC Championship. What do you guys think?
This is a really hard game to predict. I think it could go a lot of different ways.
Bet the over, boys. Bet the over. It's gonna be a lot of points.
I agree with that. I think if the Bucks come out fast, then they're going to be hard to slow down. But it's going to come down to how the Packers or how the Bucks game plan to stop everybody pretty much except Devontae Adams, because I think you just when you play these guys, I think you got to realize that he's going to get his and just try to keep everybody else under wraps. Try to let not let them get theirs, but Devontae Adams is going to shred you no matter what.
Andrew, what do you think?
This is a tough game to really decide on, because I mean, you really want to go against Brady, but I mean, it's crazy that we're getting a Brady Rodgers playoff game.
I mean, who would have thought of that 3 years ago? Who would have thought of that when Brady was consistently going to Super Bowls in New England, that we would see him on an NFC team play in an NFC Championship game against Aaron Rodgers in Lambeau Field?
Can't ask for anything better.
And just a quick side tangent, like this season, obviously it was different with no fans and stuff, but like sheer football this year. I mean, last year I was really disappointed with the product I saw on the field. The pass interference challenges were a fucking mess. Just like I got tired of seeing the Texans and like Tom Brady on the Patriots in the playoffs. This year was just such it was different. Breath of fresh air. Like every outcome this week of the games, no matter what, as a football fan,
you're all right with it.
You're getting a good Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And I think all the dislikable teams are out, like the Saints, the Steelers.
I can root for all of these teams. I think I can root for all these teams.
I can root for all of these teams. I don't have a gripe against any of the four. I mean, I would prefer not to see the Chiefs win, but I love Patrick Mahomes. I mean, how can you not like Patrick Mahomes?
Exactly. And to tell you the truth, I want to see Andy Reid win another Super Bowl. I want to see him rise up and continue to rise up in the ranks of the best coaches of all time. He'll probably be. Now, if he finishes with 3, do we think that he's next to Belichick?
I would say yes, and here's why. It's his coaching tree. If you look at Belichick's coaching tree, he is not
ridiculous.
It's not even close. Like Matt Patricia. I mean, there are good Belichick disciples. I mean, give Brian Flores his credit in Miami. He's doing a great job down there. I mean, hell, I think Jared Mayo will actually turn out to be a good coach in this league too.
What about Joe Judge?
I think he's all right.
Mediocrity. I could see
He needs a roster. Mediocrity. He needs a roster. He doesn't have a roster. He needs a roster.
But yeah. I mean, going back to the Packers and Bucks game now, I think the Packers are going to win just because they're home and they're hot, and they already lost to the Buccaneers earlier in the season.
I kind of want to go with the Bucks. Rodgers is 1-3 in his career in the championship in NFC championships.
But this is the best team he's had.
No, it's not.
No,
they went. Remember, they went 15-1, lost to the Giants in the NFC championship.
Divisional round, 2011.
The Giants.
Yeah, they lost in the divisional round.
Won that season.
Mm-hmm.
The Packers were the number 1 seed. The Giants came in there after a win against. I think they beat Atlanta in their wild card game. That was the year the Giants won the division.
Do you guys remember watching? This was when I was probably first grade. The Brett Favre, Eli Manning.
Yeah, that was the NFC Championship.
Yeah, I remember rooting for the Giants. My dad wanted to beat the living fuck out of me, but I mean, I didn't like Brett Favre when I was a kid. To be honest with you, I don't know why. I know why. Because he would always come out of retirement, and that used to just piss me off for some reason. Yeah, never was a Brett Favre kid growing up, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
But I mean, I think this is the best team Rodgers has had since he won the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I'm not going to disagree. I'm going to say Green Bay by a touchdown.
I think I'm going to say.
I just think the Packers are too good. But this is a game that you want to sit down and you want to watch, because here's the thing. We've never seen this before in a playoff setting. We've never seen this before these are the two of the best quarterbacks that we've grew up watching. These are two of the best quarterbacks that are having great seasons.
At
They
the
have
best
great
stadium
weapons.
in the entire league.
Exactly. So this is
With
a
the
game
best
that you
announcing crew in the entire league.
Yeah,
it's Fox, right?
Yeah, it's Fox.
All right. Well,
This should be like this is exactly what the NFL wanted to happen.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the best starting time too. What does it start? 3:05.
340.
Yeah, you gotta love the time slots that the NFC and AFC Championship give out. 6:40. Love it. You don't have to wait till 8 o'clock.
Yeah, that's
Perfect. All right.
Speaking of the
Late
AFC,
window. AFC Championship. The Buffalo Bills might go back to the Super Bowl. Going to Kansas City and Arrowhead. What do we think?
Chiefs.
I think the Chiefs are actually gonna beat the living fuck out of them, to be honest.
Thank you.
You think?
Thank
Yeah.
you.
All right.
Yes, and everybody knows.
You're a big
Diehard
Bills
Josh
guy.
Allen fan right here.
Big Bills guy.
I'm not even a big Bills guy. I just like Josh. Like if Josh Allen got traded to like the fucking I don't know.
Lions.
Yeah, the Lions would be my second favorite team. It's just
Let me take you guys to school for a little bit.
All right, do it.
all right. You tell me how the Chiefs are gonna lose to the Bills.
I'm not going to say Kansas City is going to lose. I just don't think that this is anything you guys are going to think. I don't think what you guys think is going to happen is going to happen. Buffalo's not a good team to fuck around with. They're not a team to fuck around with.
They haven't looked good in the postseason.
They haven't looked good, but here's the thing. Kansas City hasn't looked good in the coming weeks.
They looked unstoppable when Mahomes was fully healthy on the field.
But here's the thing. That's against a Cleveland defense.
before
Buffalo has a
Mahomes
better
got
defense than Cleveland.
Buffalo's got like not that much better of a defense, and it doesn't
Still
even
better
matter.
defense.
It hardly matters your defense.
Still better defense. We also got to remember. Yeah, Andy Reid has a Super Bowl now. Yeah, he has that Lombardi Trophy and that ring on his finger. But we got to realize what has happened in Andy Reid's tenure prior to that Super Bowl, and that's playoff mediocrity.
But I think this is a different, and I think that this is a totally different Andy Reid. If you look at his playoff mediocrity in Kansas City,
No,
like Alex Smith, love the guy. He should win comeback player of the year. If he doesn't, the NFL is a problem. But like, he's the best quarterback I've ever seen in my entire fucking life. That Patrick Mahomes is not going to let his team lose a big game.
that is exactly what I've been saying. Thank you.
No problem.
Now, I don't disagree. I do think Kansas City's going to win in my gut. I do think that. But here's the thing. You cannot count Buffalo out.
I'm not going to count them out.
You can't count them out.
And I hate to cut you off, but if you want to go back to another Andy Reid playoff mediocrity, take the ultimate choke artist that he had of a quarterback named Donovan McNabb. The ultimate choke artist.
Ultimate.
Remember the 2000?
I mean,
we don't remember it, but the 2003 NFC Championship game.
Was that the Bucks?
Yeah, with the Rondé Barber pick six.
Yeah,
You know what happened in that game, right?
that was the last game of the vet, right?
Yeah, but do you know how the game began?
No.
All right, so
ran back a touchdown.
no, that's not what happened. You're close. We got a really big kick return,
Yeah, that's right.
and then Deuce Staley scored a long touchdown. After that, the game went to shit.
Yeah, I didn't watch that game. I was like
Yeah,
two.
we were in diapers. So all three of us were in diapers. Anyway,
But I do think that this is going to be a very good game. I think we're
I'm
in
excited
for a
for it.
very good conference championship weekend. I'm going to pick Kansas City by like 5 points. I think it's kind of going to be like the game that they just played. But don't be surprised if Buffalo goes in there and
I'm not going
Doesn't
to be
damage.
surprised. I'm rooting for Buffalo.
I'm rooting for Buffalo too.
Yeah, I'm rooting for Buffalo.
Go Chiefs.
All right, Mike.
All right, so then Chiefs. If you could pick the Super Bowl right now, what would you want it to be? Not what you think
Chiefs,
can happen,
Packers.
what you want it to be.
Chiefs.
Buffalo, Tampa Bay.
What?
Wow.
I want that Super Bowl. I want that
Why?
Super Bowl. I want that Super Bowl. I want to see Tom Brady prove everybody wrong again. I want to see Buffalo finally get what they've been wanting and what they deserve. I want to see all those crazy videos on Instagram and social media.
Wait, but you're contradicting yourself. You want so
It's what I want. It's what I want.
Yeah.
It's what I want.
Who would you want to win that game though?
What game?
If the Bills and Bucks played, who would you root for?
I'd probably root for the Bucks.
It's like a win-win, but I would lean Buffalo.
You would lean Buffalo. You know what? You're right there. It is a win-win.
It's a win-win. It's such a win-win.
We all have different Super Bowl ones because I want the Bills and Packers.
My gut tells me we're gonna see Kansas City and Green Bay. But what I want is Buffalo and Tampa Bay.
I want Green Bay and the Chiefs just because I want to see Patrick Mahomes versus Aaron Rodgers. I think that'll be a fire.
I think as a football fan, that's probably your best outcome.
Yeah.
Like if you love offense, that's your game.
You're not going to get a bad matchup.
No.
I will say though, if the Bills and Packers play in Tampa, they need to fucking relocate the Super Bowl to somewhere where it's going to be cold.
I agree.
Like, dude, make that shit make it snow in Tampa that night or some shit. Packers, Bills, Super Bowl in Tampa.
They should relocate it to like a college stadium, like Michigan or Notre Dame or something like that.
How about in like the coldest possible place in the entire world? How about Embrace?
What about Canada?
Embrace, Minnesota.
And there you go.
Little hockey town.
Little hockey town. All right.
Shall we move on to the NBA?
We shall move on to basketball. Now, Sixers beat the Celtics last night.
Great game.
Yeah, I watched the fourth quarter. They looked awesome.
What's your takeaways? Because, I mean, I think it's obviously the same thing. Like, good coaching. You can't win without Embiid. You're getting very good play out of Shake Milton. Your Ben Simmons
needs to step it the fuck up.
I need a little bit more.
Yeah.
This makes me wish we had James Harden.
9 points or whatever the fuck he's averaging. That's just not – you can't do that if you're making that money that he's making.
Why do you say that, Andrew?
Imagine this team. Embiid dropped 45 points last night or something like that. He tried a lot of points last night. Definitely in the 40s. By the way, he's the best free throw shooter, big man. He shoots.
That's what I said. I said that last night. He's like the best free throw shooting big man I've ever seen.
I mean, I was listening to the post game show last night with that Foss dude. Jim Lynam is old as fuck now. I don't know if that guy got COVID or I don't know what the fuck went on with him, but he is old now. Anyway, he was saying that it's like because like when Shaquille O'Neal was really good, the strategy to Shaquille O'Neal was every time you saw him, just foul him because you know he can't shoot fucking free throws.
You can't do that with Embiid.
If you foul Embiid, he's gonna get his at the foul line.
Mm-hmm.
Which is great.
He's always like 15 for 17 or something like that.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm just saying, imagine. So this starting lineup, you got. So if we trade, so who would have we had to trade to get James Harden?
Ben Simmons and then Tyrese Maxey.
Okay. All right.
And picks.
All right, so you would have, what would be your lineup with Harden? Yeah, just like
Harden,
bullshit.
Seth Curry, Danny Green, Tobias Harris, and Joel Embiid.
I mean, Embiid and Harden some nights could probably combine for 80 points.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, Danny Green made 4 or 5 threes last night.
He's kind of inconsistent.
He is inconsistent, but he's always been inconsistent.
Yeah, that's fair. We need Seth Curry back. I want to see him back really bad.
Where's he been?
COVID.
He's had COVID for like a month.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but
Jesus.
Yeah, I'm glad everybody else is back though.
Yeah.
That was a good win. We needed that win. We never.
How about last night? The Cavs and Nets played last night, and I was on.
I wanted to get the Cavs so bad.
I was on my little betting app, and I see the first half, and I'm like, "Ooh, Cleveland's winning." I was like, "Do I put $5 on the Cavs?" I'm like, "Nah, that's $5. It's just gonna go down the shitter." Don't they win in double overtime?
Yep.
They did 147-135. Harden had 21 points. Kyrie led them with 37.
KD
led them with 38. Kyrie had 37.
KD had a great game. James Harden triple double.
Kyrie Irving is the type of guy to do acid one time and then get a fucking like spiritual like necklace and just walk around and just telling your people about like vibrations and shit. He is a fucking whack human being.
I don't like him. And I don't like the
I like
fit.
Kyrie, to be honest with you.
I hate him.
I like Kyrie.
No,
Yeah,
I
he's
think
crazy.
one of the best dribblers of all time.
I agree with that, but you can't leave your organization in the dark and go missing for like 2 weeks, and then
That
You
guy
guys-
can-
say it
that guy
was
can
his
cross her-
family's
that guy can make a
birthday or-
rock fall.
What?
That guy can make a rock fall. If a rock was guarding Kyrie Irving, he would do a step back and the rock would fall.
Do you guys want to hear something crazy?
Yeah.
Almost a month into that NBA season.
What? We're a month in.
You're almost like a month in. It
Feels like it
seems
just
like.
started.
Yeah.
What do we think so far? Like, what's your big takeaway? Or
So-
bigger
COVID.
takeaway?
For real.
COVID.
Sixers
Yeah.
are legit East contenders,
I agree.
but I think there's a clear
kinda-
number one favorite in both divisions
I'd say
in each conference.
I still think the Sixers are going to lose in the second round.
And if we hit Boston, we're losing. Guarantee it.
I don't know.
Honestly, I'm not afraid of Boston.
That's a 7-game series, if you ask me.
It's just if they didn't even have Tatum. If they had Tatum last night, they win.
But I still think it's a 7-game series.
I
Yeah,
doubt.
it's 7 games.
it.
I mean, at this point, we haven't beat this Boston Celtics in a playoff series since 1983.
Yeah, they.
And
I-
guess what? That year we won the championship. So if we beat Boston this year, maybe we win the championship.
If we get past the second round, I think we're dangerous.
We are.
I don't
I don't want to play Brooklyn, dude.
That would be a tough series to watch.
That would
Because
be.
do you really have three guys that are going to be able
No.
to play defense on Kevin Durant,
Well-
on Kyrie Irving, and on James Harden?
I mean, you could put Ben on KD, and try. He's gonna probably score at least 25 points every game, but Ben Simmons has really, really become a really elite defender. So you could throw him on KD, Danny Green, I guess, on James Harden, and then Thibault on Kyrie. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to guard these guys.
Yeah, I just think that there's too much talent on that. I mean, I think the Sixers are talented. I mean, this is a very good Sixers team.
Easily.
Very.
I think for me, though, I think in the West is what you got to watch out for a little bit. The Clippers are my favorite in the West. I think they
they're
can.
too soft. I think they're way too soft.
I think they're too soft.
I think they have a
I
soft
can't think that after last year.
I mean,
playoff
the
team.
thi-
I was certain that they were going to win the championship all year. Certain. And then
I
they
just
just
think
never.
nobody's stopping LeBron in the West.
nobody's
No.
stopping.
No team is beating a team with LeBron and Anthony Davis 4 times before they lose 4 times.
I mean, you never know though, because here's the thing. I mean, the Clippers. Yeah, you can argue that they're too soft, but if you get Kawhi on a roll, he's
You need
unstoppable.
you need all your guys to be on a roll if you want to beat the Lakers in a 7-game series. Paul George can't shoot like 5 for 20 from the field,
Yeah,
which he
absolutely.
needs to do.
Also, look out for Denver.
They're not a team to fuck around with.
Denver's
Look out for
scary.
Phoenix.
I love Phoenix. I love the Suns. I think they're
Everyone
very,
says I don't see the Jazz as a real threat.
neither do I.
I don't see Portland as a real threat, although I do think Damian Lillard.
They got a really good roster. I don't know why they can't like win 55 games.
It's gonna be when Damian Lillard retires, he's gonna be one of the best players to never win a championship.
It's a good take.
I can agree with that.
It's a good take.
I just
I
don't
can,
because he's too loyal to Portland.
Yeah, he'll never win a championship, but I don't
He's
see him
not
ever
going
leaving
to.
Portland either.
He would have
Yeah.
to go ring seeking to win a championship, and he's a very
He wouldn't do that.
he's extremely loyal to Portland. Which,
Yeah, he's a
you know
player.
what? Like Godspeed to him, but they're never winning a championship.
I agree. I mean, and you said it right. He would have to go to a team like the Lakers, like I guess Boston Celtics, like one of those types of teams. If he wants to put a ring on his finger, and you know what, if he's going to do it, might as well do it with Portland. If they're willing to build around,
They have a solid starting five.
Yeah,
McCollum's good. They got a lot of big men that are pretty good. Nurkic, I think, is like one of the most underrated bigs in the league.
He just got hurt.
Again?
Yeah, he's out for 8 weeks.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's the Lakers. It's the Lakers conference to lose, and I don't think they're going to lose it.
Yeah, perfectly said.
We'll see. There's still a lot of basketball left to be played. Tomorrow night, the Sixers play the Celtics again, so we'll see what happens there.
I love these back-to-backs. Listen, if you're betting
too.
on these back-to-backs, if a really shitty team beats the really good team the next night, put all your fucking money on the really good team because they're not going to let a shitty team beat them twice. I'll give you an example. We'll sprinkle a little hockey in here. The Flyers got their shit kicked in on Monday night. It was Monday night. Then they bounced back and they played Buffalo and they beat Buffalo 3-0. I mean, the Flyers are just a superior hockey team and they're not going to lose to Buffalo twice, especially at home. I mean, it doesn't matter with no fans, but you want to lose.
It's a problem if they lose twice. It's a big problem if they lose twice.
Shut up, Brian Elliott. 40 saves on 40 shots. Give another quick shout out to Jack Hughes, New Jersey Devils, leading the league in points. He's younger than all three of us.
Are you serious?
I shit you not. That kid can skate. He can put the puck in the net, and he can pass.
That's what you need to do.
He's going to be a force to be reckoned with in the league. He's going to be a player.
Andrew, let me ask you this question. Who's the most important? Like, a friend of ours posted on their story the other day, who's better, a healthy Flyers team or a healthy Sixers team?
Flyers.
I said the Flyers. But a lot of that depends on Carter Hart. Can you agree?
Yeah. I think both. I don't, because like I'm not a biased fan. I mean, I was shitting on the Eagles earlier, and we
all do. We all do.
And I could shit on the Philadelphia Phillies for the next five years straight, not run out of.
Don't get me started.
But I think these two teams are the best teams that we've seen. The Sixers and the Flyers. I think there's just a lot of talent, but I think the Flyers can win the Stanley Cup this season if they really try. They got a really good coach. I just don't want to run into the Islanders. And the Islanders were just a terrible team for the Flyers to run into in the playoffs because they just bore. The Islanders play the most boring hockey on planet Earth. They play really good defense. They trap you, they forecheck, and they kill penalties.
Yeah. And you saw that in the playoffs. That in this year's Stanley Cup playoffs. Which is, that's how it was. So yeah. I guess we'll sprinkle in some baseball. George Springer goes to the Toronto Blue Jays.
Contracts that are like really low in baseball. I feel like, he's like for the past couple of years, you see guys making like,
$300
million a year. What did
fucking $1 million?
What did he just get from the Blue Jays?
$100 million.
Over 5?
I think 6. I could be wrong.
He's 31 though, so maybe they're accounting that like they probably
He's like 3 or 4 good
front loaded that
years.
contract. They definitely front loaded it.
Yeah. But here's the thing. You got to start competing with the AL East because they want to make that leap over Tampa Bay, assuming that the Yankees are the far better team. They are. If they add one more pitcher, I think they win that division. They're my preseason lock to win the AL East. But let's say they were to track Michael Brantley, who's been one of the best average hitters in baseball in the last couple of years, they were able to attract him over there. Then Toronto would have been a big threat to not only Tampa, but to the Yankees. But Brantley ended up re-signing with Houston, kind of saving Houston sports from the shit that's been going on there in the past few weeks. But regardless of that, I mean, I think that's a good signing for Toronto. They also got Kirby Yates, who is one of the best closers in
his
baseball.
ERA was like sub 130 in 2019.
He was insane. in 2019.
He did that on San Diego, right? He was on
Yeah.
the Padres that season, I
Mhm.
believe. Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of the Padres, they had another starting pitcher in Joe Musgrove.
Great pitcher to get an MLB The Show. Anybody watching that's doing MLB The Show franchises, 82 potential. No, sorry. He's got B potential, 83 overall. Trade for him, man.
Yeah, and plus,
Help you out.
they're not going to have Mike Clevenger. I think a couple guys are banged up in that very good rotation. They can throw him in there, and they'll be just fine.
John, I hate to cut you off. My phone's about to die.
All right.
So, gonna charge this bad boy up. All right, boys.
All right, Andrew, it was a pleasure.
All right.
That's
Okay.
it. Just down and
Thanks
goodbye.
for being here, Andrew.
That's just me and Michael. But yeah, I mean, San Diego is going to be a
Yeah, baseball.
they're going to be a little bit of a
The way I judge how good a team is how many players I know on them. They've been getting a lot of guys that I actually know the names of. So,
well, Fernando Tatis has been. You've seen him a lot.
Yeah.
Manny Machado was a.
I know him.
He was
They got
Uh,
you, Jarvis, right? And who was the other pitcher? Blake
Jarvis, Blake Snell from Tampa Bay. He was a Cy Young winner in 2018.
Yeah.
Mike Clevenger, who's a very good pitcher for the Indians
Mhm.
the past couple of years. So yeah, they got a good team. Really good team.
Oh yeah.
Now there's two games. We talked about it for the NFL.
Mhm.
Normally we would do picks at this time, but do we throw some scores in there for these two games this weekend?
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to say for the first game, Green Bay 34, Tampa Bay 27.
I'm gonna. It's so
I feel like it's
tough
one of
to
those
pick
games.
this game. It's so tough. I think I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna pick the Packers with a score of 35-32.
35-32. All right, I'll take that. Late window. I say Kansas City 20. Kansas City 20. Buffalo 17.
I'm gonna go. 3rd. I think both teams score 25. I'm gonna go 30 to 28. Chiefs.
May not be that bad. That's a 2-point game. All
I
right,
think
we'll see.
I think the Bills will maybe cover. They either cover or they get their ass kicked.
We'll see. All
We
right.
shall see.
Next time we'll talk, we'll have a Super Bowl matchup set. Isn't that crazy?
I don't
Seems
know
like
where
we
it
two
went,
days
man.
ago.
Don't know where it went.
Don't know where it went, but it happens every year. All right,
I'm
Michael.
having
Great.
fun.
It was great. That was a good episode.
Good episode.
Next week, we'll see you then.
All right. See you later.